Dark, moody, and deliberately repetitive. This is the world of small things like these. Cillian Murphy plays Bill Furlong, a coal delivery man in the adaptation of a book of the same title. So the first thing I really want to talk about is the cinematography and the sound design. They really were used in such a deliberate manner. The film's deliberate camera work stands out. It's very crisp, it's concise, and just stunning, beautiful. It acts like portraiture. Early on, we get a sense of Bill's day-to-day life. They really use repetitive imagery and repetitive storytelling to kind of show the mundaneness, which I think relates to the title, Small Things Like These, the routine of life, just looking the other way and shutting out the realities of this Magdalene laundry. The film's plot pretty much focuses on the day-to-day life of Bill Furlong and then his relationship with a convent school for girls, which is actually a Magdalene laundry. In the town he's from, the church runs everything. And Bill, as the film reveals itself, we see that he was a child of a unwed teenager, and she would have been sent, his mother would have been sent to a Magdalene laundry and the baby taken away. So she was lucky enough to have a nice, kind woman to employ her as a maid so Bill could be raised with her while she worked. And this was very unusual because the culture of Ireland during the 1980s was not okay with teen mothers or unwed mothers at all. And he remembers this kindness and his upbringing as he goes through his day and has to deal with what he sees at the Magdalene laundry while he's doing his delivery. The filmmakers really create a sense of repetition with the visual style, which we kind of see echoed throughout the film. We witness Bill's life in small everyday tasks, the back of his coal delivery truck every day, his walk through town, the bridge, washing his hand. These small motions, delivering coal, returning to the Magdalene laundry, walking through town, going to the pub, these routines are slowly interrupted by Bill's memories of his upbringing, which we learn about as he wrestles with his choice to intervene in the life of one of the young women at the Magdalene laundry. His conscious and the present culture that he lives with, and the fact that he has 5 daughters of his own, continuously weigh on him. And this is shown through the use of a close-up. And let me tell you, a close-up on Cillian Murphy is absolute cinema masterpiece. Oh, I could just look at his face all day. I'm serious. He should just do a one-man film of 2 hours of him in extreme close-ups and different angles of a close-up. But anyway, I digress. The close-ups and the sound design in this film are so powerful and used at such deliberate moments. For instance, there's a moment when Bill is sitting at the table with his 5 young daughters who are all trying to loudly discuss what they want for Christmas. And the camera closes in on Bill's face, and we know his mind is drifting, but then the sound design of his daughters' voices fade away into this blur. And this technique is repeated at key moments in the film, particularly when Bill's thoughts drift back to his own childhood and he is coming to his own conclusions about how he feels versus how the culture, the outside, is telling him how to feel, how to go about his day and not intervene and not get involved in the straight up hypocrisy that he sees and the neglect of children who have been basically birthed by unwed and teen mothers. His wife and the local pub owner advise him to look the other way when it comes to the school for girls, but Bill is disturbed by what he witnesses delivering coal daily. One of the repetitive things that I like about this film is the use of the tracking shot. The tracking shot is used to convey Bill's character and inner conflict. For instance, he's driving his truck home, and this is early in the film. He sees a young boy collecting sticks to heat his home, and Bill stops and gives the boy extra change. The tracking shot mirrors basically what we're going to see at the end of the film. Another thing about this film is the photography is very quiet and restrained, but the portraits are just like, are you kidding me? This is stunning. There's only one moment that the film breaks the stillness. And that's what is so powerful about this film, is that you don't realize what a masterpiece of filmmaking it is until you sit with it and you kind of go over everything, because it's so slick in getting to the points, especially if you're used to American cinema where they're like, action, action. The film reveals itself slowly. Basically, the stillness is everything that Bill is, his character, like his mind and his kind of repetition and providing for his family. The camera only breaks this quiet stillness once, and it is extremely jarring and effective. Pivotal moment, one of my favorite moments, I actually stood up in the movie theater. Bill finds Sarah, who is locked in the coal closet, and he takes her into the convent, even though she begs him not to. But he's like, why are you locked in this coal closet? You're gonna freeze. He doesn't really understand. He also is conflicted. It's that thing of like, he knows something's wrong, but he also knows there's consequences that speaks out against what is happening here. He takes her into the convent, and it is there while he's standing in the hallway, he's witnessing the cruelty of the school. Mother Superior pretends to be kind, inviting the girl to speak and have tea with her and Bill. He realizes this is all a gesture, because we see in Emily Watson's performance that she is really suppressing fierce rage and cruelty while she talks to the girl. Like, it's very much a performance of administrative kindness to Sarah, and that she's being very generous by not hurting her and punishing her. So Cillian is sitting in this room, and he's listening to, these gestures, and then Mother Superior pretends that they're we're gonna let her take a nap. She's been through an ordeal, and get her food and all these things. So it's all fake. He knows something bad is gonna happen to this young woman when he leaves. And Mother Superior gives him a handsome tip, and everything is beautifully photographed and quiet. And then as he is walking out of the convent, he's being led by another nun. The camera starts shaking, like and the sound design reflects this troubled mind, and this he knows he needs to step in. So while he's following the nun, he stops and he runs back to the kitchenette where he has walked past Sarah calmly. He stops, and the camera catches up with him, and it's shaky, and he's like, what's your name? He asks her name, she tells him, and he's like, this is my name. Come to my job if you ever need anything. I will help you. And the nuns are yelling at him like, how dare you? How dare you? That just right there, it just shows the power of deliberate camera work. I mean, it was just wonderful, because he broke the routine. He broke the silence, the shared agreement the entire town has decided. This is what we're going to do. These women are bad, and if you speak out against it, we will punish you, because that is just the way things are. That is the way we're going to do things, and we've all agreed on this. And he interrupts. The film ends with Bill going shopping with the money Mother Superior gave him. He buys shoes that his wife wanted for the girls. And then we're wondering, like, what is he going to do? Because the entire, town is kind of like eyeing him. Like, they know something has been going on. Like, he's witnessing what they all know is happening. And he walks to the convent, we see, and he enters the coal room, and he finds Sarah there again. And she is huddled above a stack of coal. He carries her through the town, and here we see the tracking shots that we have seen throughout the film of his routine, walking through the town, walking home. We see it, and this time he's carrying Sarah. And it very much recalls the Catholic imagery of Simon in the Stations of the Cross carrying Jesus. He's carrying her over his shoulders through the town, so everyone in town knows, I'm rescuing this young girl, and she's going to come live with me. And he's breaking that shared collective silence, that agreement. They have all decided that they're just going to throw these girls away and punish them for, having children or being, different. Instead of, following the normal routine of just buying Christmas presents, he brings Sarah into the light of the town, making this hidden secret known. And so throughout the film, we have seen Bill's routine of him washing the coal off his hands every day in the sink. There's a sink as soon as he comes home that he routinely uses. And one of the most powerful moment, and this just speaks to how everything was photographed in this film, is there's a mirror in the bathroom that we've seen shot throughout the film, and he's washed his hands, and then Sarah's standing there, and he reaches out with his hand, and it's not a close-up of the hand, it's in the mirror, and it's so subtle, and my heart just broke because it was so beautiful. And he's like, welcome home. He's like, come on in. And it was just so beautiful the way it was shot. It was so just subtle, like, this is all you do, this is all you have to do to be kind, and it was so wonderful. And I completely started crying because it was just so subtle and beautiful, and not this, Hollywood extra, like, take my hand, I'm a good person. It was just so subtle and gentle. Like, he's making the choice to help this young woman the way that his mom had been helped, and he had been, whereas the church had been taking away, separating children from their mothers in the Magdalene Laundry. The film was dedicated to over the 50,000 women who were forced to be institutionalized at Magdalene Laundries in Ireland. And I've discussed Magdalene Laundries on this channel before. They basically were Catholic workhouses funded by the state in Ireland throughout the 1920s to 1996. Sinead O'Connor had been institutionalized at one such place, and I've discussed that in her video essay. And one of the things I'd like to discuss, the town I grew up in, South Bend, Indiana, is pretty much owned by the Catholic Church. They basically run the economy of the town, so no one is going to get out if they're involved in anything nefarious. They kind of get their way, and you've learned not to speak up against their culture or against any athletes who do very unpleasant things to female students or non-students on their campus. And that's just an agreement. And if you do, you will be punished, as one young woman was, and she was punished so harshly she unalived herself. So I understand the power that these institutions have on a town when they run the economy, because everyone pretty much will bow down to save themselves and families. And if you're the unfortunate one who gets caught in a situation, people will turn on you. And that has been something I've witnessed growing up. You don't want to, because your own family will disown you for the sake of themselves. And there's and it's a very unforgiving place because they keep records. The town just is very unforgiving. If you just don't fit the brand, you're just not wanted. And they let you know. There's a lot of punishment involved for not being the brand that this institution wants. And it isn't as cut and clear as unwanted pregnancy. It's more of a energy one has, creative energy, rebellious energy. It's just not wanted here. You just have to, it's very much a permeate cloud of shame, dread, and obedience to administrative policy. And if you don't fit that, and if you are not going to follow through with that, it's not a good place to be. And you can drink, you can be a drunkard, you can do all those things, but under the guise of football culture. It's very bizarre. What small things like these does so well to capture the essence of this cultural phenomenon. You know, I experienced it growing up in an Irish Catholic community. I honestly think it's not just Ireland, the country of Ireland. I think it is an extension of some sort of culture, because it's just something the men on my dad's side of the family have always had, this very brute way of looking at things, this very like intense way of seeing things that did not include me, you know. And when I hit puberty, their value of me changed, and I was seen as a harlot, even though I had not done anything besides had the natural process of puberty hit. So it isn't just, you know, for Irish people that live on Ireland. It seems to be like a cultural phenomenon with the diaspora of people of Ireland living in other parts of the country. But anyway, but it also is probably, you know, it's controlled by the university. The university kind of keeps that concentrated idea alive in this it's not tiny, in this like mid-sized city. So anyway. And so there's some sort of, I think a lot of it has a misogyny, like a hatred of womankind, not being subservient and making themselves smaller. It has probably a lot to do with just not wanting to feel emotions, suppress emotions. There's a lot of repressed emotions, not feeling and pushing away. But this film is so wonderful at showing how the mentality in the camera works, and the kind of struggle that Bill goes through to come to this action he takes to rescue someone as the way he was rescued. It's just a brilliant film. The sound design incorporated with the camera work is breathtaking. And at the end, instead of playing, you know, music, they play this sound design track, which I loved, because when you go to Ireland, it's an island, so you hear the seagulls constantly, and they play that sound of the seagulls, and they're just so loud, and it's so atmospheric, and it's definitely a beautiful film. I recommend watching it uninterrupted. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe and watch Small Things Like These.